What's going on, Reef family, and welcome back to another video. In my last video I was going over the crash and what I had done following the crash to prepare for the rebuild. Well, considering that I refused to really put any corals in this tank until it was 100% stable and ready, I did end up running into an interesting problem. One of the reasons I was happy that the reef gods had deemed it necessary to bless me with a crash and take me down a notch was that it gave me an opportunity to clean up my rock. You see, through the crash, I started noticing some nasty turf algae that had been growing, and it was time to clean it up. So despite baking in the sun, a significant pressure washing, and then baking in my garage for almost 2 weeks completely dry, when the rock entered my tank, it wasn't before long that I started seeing a tremendous amount of turf algae growing on the surfaces of my live rock. No doubt due to the cycle and the new parameters that were being experienced. At first, I chalked this up to the reef gods taking me out back and punching in my teeth for good measure. But I realized that possibly and most likely, the main reason that the turf came back was because their cells were so deep in the live rock that there was no way that I could clean it all off with just a pressure washing and baking in the sun. Perhaps if I had done it in an oven or with a nuclear bomb or the vacuum of space, maybe that might have killed all the turf algae cells, but it didn't, at least not in my case. Well, I decided to tackle this issue head on, so naturally bring on the chemicals. First up was Reflux HD. So I spent over $100 in Reflux pills, mixed it for over 2 hours using a small pump, and then dosed it into my aquarium. Within 3 days, I started to see significant die-off, and much of the turf algae started looking like what you would see here. Brown, kind of white, dying, ultimately not too healthy, where other areas didn't seem to change at all. After a 14-day treatment, I can't say with any certainty that if I had performed a big water change and redosed another $100 in Reflux, that anything would have changed. In either case, at over 2 times the dosage, it still did not kill the turf algae. It had just hit it really hard. Hitting it really hard wasn't just the only thing. It did kind of weaken it quite a bit. But next up was Vibrant. Since I was waging holy war on turf algae, I figured I'd just leave the Reflux in and start Vibrant. Well, I did my first dosage and holy cripes, within 48 hours, nothing happened. Sorry if I got your hopes up. It would take another week and 2 doses of Vibrant for Reef before I actually started seeing any noticeable die-off in the turf algae. After finishing up my first bottle of Vibrant, I was contemplating on what to do next. I could spend another $100 in Reflux and hope that works. Switch to the nuclear version of Vibrant, which was Vibrant for salt water, which I hear is stronger. Or I could take the tank out back and use a shotgun to put it out of its misery. One evening, while counting the bullets it would take to kill my display, I decided to do a little research. As it would turn out, I might have missed a crucial step in my Kill the Rock rebuild, and that crucial step was to actually kill the rock. A few episodes of CSI Reef to Reef later, I felt I had enough information on what will actually 100% kill turf algae. I came up with flame, hydrogen peroxide, and Clorox bleach in that order of what I think is coolest. After grabbing 3 empty snail shells, I proceeded to burn off the hair algae outside and the turf algae with a can of hairspray and bad decisions, which worked in seconds. I soaked the snail shell in hydrogen peroxide, 100%, and a Clorox bleach at a ratio of 2 gallons per 20 gallons of water, and I left it there overnight. After 24 hours, the snail shell in 100% hydrogen peroxide looked kind of the same as what was going on in my tank, while the one in Clorox looked like I had burnt off the turf algae and then followed it up with a buff and polish. So what I needed to do was cook all the organics off the rock and then put it back in the tank. So off I went to Walmart and searched for a flamethrower. Sadly, they were out of stock. Instead, I purchased 10 gallons of regular strength Clorox bleach. Removing my rock was very simple. Since they're all glued together, I just conned my eldest child with $20 and 2 days off his current grounding punishment for good behavior to go into the tank and hand each structure one by one to me until all were in a 4x4 80-gallon container outside. Then I filled the container up and tossed in 10 gallons of bleach and forgot about it for 48 hours. 48 hours later, I drained and filled the tub a few times, stopping each time to rinse and rotate the rocks, finally filling it up a last time and dumping in an entire bottle of Prime. The end result is that I defeated turf algae. The rock will continue to soak for a day or two and go through another rinse and another soak before getting seeded with some Dr. Tim's and being moved back into the main display. In the meantime, I will spend the days cleaning the display from top to bottom, including the sump and any shells that I find with existing turf algae. For good measure, I will continue dosing Vibrant for a few more weeks just to finish off the bottle. I don't wish turf algae on anyone. To be honest, I believe that over time, Vibrant and Reflux would have killed the turf algae, but at a significant cost. Clorox cost me about $15 and solved my problem in less than a week. I could always run that risk that if I stopped either medication, that I could actually have a resurgence of turf algae. And at the cost of both medications, I couldn't justify either one for long-term control of the turf algae, at least not in over 450 gallons of water. Yes, I will have some time cycling the tank, but after watching the latest Magna talk by Dr. Tim Hovenick, I believe that I have some excellent tips about cycling that I will be doing this time around. It's interesting that my display experienced turf algae in my real reef rock, whereas my Aqua Roche rock has never experienced this issue, despite corals being moved back and forth from the main display. Should the turf algae come back, I think I would probably end up doing an extended soak, full tank sterilization, and then trying another rock like Aqua Roche. But I think that's about wraps up this video. Thanks for watching and be sure to hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of new videos coming out as soon as well as a new contest. As always guys, you keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you all on the flip side.